So everybody, the best motto that I can tell people to understand right now is that it's what you're not seeing that's the story, and that's the truth. There are people that think this whole thing is like a Hollywood movie, and it is not. It is our world, our lives, and our children's lives and deaths and massacres. And so for people that write in comments, I have to see it to believe it. I ache for you because you're not awake and you refuse to become awake. And this is when people don't like the truth, when I tell people exactly what's happening. And again, there are people here that are plenty awake and they get it. There is not going to be a Hollywood OJ type trial for these people. These people are mass murderers. They're rapers. They're child abductors. And they think they're above the law. And if they didn't put them in Gitmo, they would be leaking out into any prison that they were in inside here, buying the owner of the prison, the guards, and the courts. And for everybody that's not paying attention, the New York governor or whatever just pardoned 18 people that were going to be deported with crimes and pardoned them. These places still have the deep state operating, and they're doing it in spite of the president and to spite the president. And are they going to get in trouble? Absolutely. But there are going to be no fireworks and a takedown party with balloons on this process. It's happening every day under our noses and as we sleep. And there are new channels, and there's one that's, I think it's called You Are Free TV, doing exactly what I'm doing and putting the breadcrumbs together and doing an amazing job getting truth out and doing exactly what she's supposed to do as a part of this. And there's people like her joining every day because we're coming from the back and leading to the front. And these other channels are going to end up with no views. And if they're taken down or not, I don't know. But we are spreading and rising all over social media. And so if you pay attention and read my blog, they put more people in Gitmo. And the plane from LA had a sex trafficker on it, which is why they turned it around and took the person off and grounded it until the 4 people involved were gone. And those are in the notes in my blog, inside my description. So, you know, people think they're entitled to and have a right to every answer and to have to see someone locked up and in handcuffs. That's a personal problem, that you won't have any awareness of the deep state and how hard it is to catch these criminals. And it's had to be done in airports while they black out the lights because they know someone was on a flight and arriving, and they have to get them and get them carefully and quietly and keep it out of the leakers and these insane people that are the supposed journalists and news, which are actually the enemy. They would actually put footage of these dangerous things out and endanger everyone's lives that's gathering these things up. And for people that won't wake up to reality or what the deep state is, there's no help for you, because your need it's not important. Like, I'm sorry, but this is bigger than anybody. And people have to learn to live with what they're not seeing to understand what they're seeing. And those are the people that are awake and paying attention. And again, you know, people would love to have answers for everything that there are no answers for. You don't always get the answers. That's one of the things about being a grown-up, is that sometimes you have to just take the high road, trust in something, and then let it go. And nobody has to cater to the fact that that's what you think you need. They're doing a job that's bigger than that. And we may never know who they took and where they went and what happened. because this is a criminal cabal, and there's been no one in history ever that could take them down. And people like Reagan and the Kennedys tried, but every force of the evil and the cults took them over, silenced and killed them in order to continue to run this their way. If it wasn't for social media and all of us and Julian Assange and waking us up and everyone else in between, this would still be our story, and we wouldn't even have the privilege of knowing what they did to us and having answers for chemtrails, big pharma, where the children went, why they were on milk cartons, why Child Protective Services is actually the enemy, and why they are part of child trafficking and allowed to get away with it, and why our government did all this, and why all the rich had slush funds in every single fund and lie that they told to us. We wouldn't even know. And if you need a wake-up call, go listen to a Democrat that's still lying to you about the tax bill, about anything, because that is what they do. They're two-faced liars, and they lie straight to the camera. Those are your answers. So to take them out of power after they've had 40, 60, 80, 100-year run in government, there's no way to do it except what's happening. And one thing this other woman said on her channel was that President Trump is funding some of this himself. I haven't even had time to make a video of what he did for people on Christmas. He fed them a massive amount of meals on his own budget so that it didn't come out of the government. That is who our president is. And according to her, she said that he's funding some of the takedown himself out of his own wealth because he's not using government funds to do it. So everybody who doesn't want to wake up and doesn't want to understand the biggest process here, I feel sorry for you. But to me, you're a troll, and it's way bigger than all of us. And the reason I continue to do this and am so devoted to our president and our country is because my personal calling was always about more than what I need and about myself. And it was always that even when I'm sore or cold or tired or broken or they're chasing. So everybody, I wanted to update people on General FLYN. Now he is a person that is a true patriot, and he was set up to take the fall when they unlawfully unmasked him and found out things that they were not supposed to, and they illicitly obtained information and then tried to use it against him in order to indict him in the Mueller investigation and whatever. And it had nothing to do with Russia collusion, and it was also known before Mueller, whatever his name is, did his fake investigation that has cost us millions. So like all of us that have different tasks in this inside saving our country, there is a true patriot that has filed paperwork to it's called a motion to quash, and different it's going to be a 5-part series of filings in court to undo the illegal things they did to General FLYN. Now, when you commit a crime or when you have anything happen, they have to do it lawfully. They have to have a subpoena. They have to have a they have to have a warrant, and they have to have a way to lawfully obtain all of their information that they have. The reason they ever went after General FLYN in the first place is because he had the list that contained the names of the pedophiles. So the only thing the Democrats do when you are smart and lawful and truthful is go after you and try to blackmail you and take away anything that you have in order to silence you and prevent you from destroying what they consider to be theirs, which is actually, in fact, everything that we own. Our children, our rights, our wealth, not to be drugged, not to be poisoned, you name it. So finally now, with the executive order in place. Of course, as you know, not all courts nor all people are 100% on board yet, but as their colleagues are getting arrested and taken away and disappearing, they are going to have to start to apply the law. And the one thing about these filings is even if they end up getting denied and dismissed, there are appeals in Supreme Court, which is the lawful constitutional court now put in by the president, and they can be reversed there. So everybody, again, we're all breadcrumbs in this situation. And when I say breadcrumbs, everybody, that is the biggest compliment that we can have. I don't mean to say that our roles are insignificant, but we are breadcrumb trails to the restoration of our country. And each person is being given tasks that are different, and we all lead into what will become the co-pilots with President Trump as the pilot. Thank you.